Welcome back to Monday Night Live.
An entrepreneur that has been disrupting the lead generation industry.
Introducing your host, Nathaniel Bibby.
LinkedIn marketer of the year. Name Nathaniel Bibby.
Welcome to Monday Night Live. If you're new here, I'm Nathaniel Bibby. Over 500 million in sales for our clients using LinkedIn strategies alone. Monday Night Live is your weekly dose of LinkedIn strategies, marketing tips, and business advice to get you to the next level. Monday night at 6 p.m. Perth time. So drop in the comments and say what's up.
Monday Night Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Monday Night Live. I remember the day everyone was talking about it. I knew it was going to change everything. 4 out of 5 businesses make AI a top priority and have adopted it for business processes, more than one. We're going to talk specifically about LinkedIn today. Drop in the comments and say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. What's cracking? Got someone over on YouTube here. Drop in the chat, say hello. Let's make this as interactive as possible. Social media is entering a brand new era. And if you don't adapt now, you're going to fail. The good news is there are now dozens of ways to win that simply just didn't exist 12 months, 24 months ago. I know this because, I spend every day running LinkedIn campaigns, content marketing campaigns, not just for myself, for my business and for my clients. We know what works and what doesn't. And just in the past couple of months, we've grown our views by over 110% across the board. Hazel over in the UK, welcome. Good to see you here. And we've got Murshad Javed from Iran. Welcome, my friend. Anyway, so tonight I'm walking through some of the biggest shifts in AI and LinkedIn that are quickly transforming the platform. Some of the things that I actually use AI for, because I'm actually not somebody that starts with AI. I'm a big believer in authenticity. So I want to show you how I use it to save a lot of time and money and why it's so important moving forward. So look, if you're not getting results you want, this is going to help you. It's going to be up-to-date advice. It's going to show you how to increase your results, improve your efficiency. And if you're ready to grow without spending your whole day on LinkedIn, then listen up, because this is where all the money is going to be made in the next 12 months, but only if you use it right. So you're going to want to pay close attention. Oh, I bet it's wet and blustery in North Devon there, Piers. Welcome, Gilly Walker from Sydney. I hope you like the time that we're doing it at today, so you can accommodate some of you guys over in Sydney and Melbourne. They were getting a bit fed up with it being at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. at night. If you're new here, welcome back to Monday Night Live. This is your weekly dose of LinkedIn secrets, marketing moves, and real talks about what's actually working right now in business. I do this every week. I've missed 2 weeks out of the last 4 because I've had some personal things going on. But I've told you if I do miss a Monday Night Live, it's because something important's come up. So I've missed 2 so far this year. We'll try not to miss any more. I've trained now over 40,000 professionals on LinkedIn. This is all I do every day. Drop in the comments, say what's up, let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you're a regular on Monday Night Live, show everyone how we do and get in the comments. Has this started yet? It sure has. Is something wrong with the video feed, guys? Let me just have a look here. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm getting some feedback in the comments that something might be wrong. Oh, is it not streaming to the right place? Let me have a look here. So I can see you guys showing up in the comments. What's going on? Yeah, I'm here. I can see myself. I don't know what your comments are about. Maybe they're a bit delayed. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Well, there we go. The microphone should be working, and yeah, I'm going to keep going, guys, because everything seems to be all right at my end. Okay, I'm going to open the contest. We're going to give away free 6 months free of Condo, which is LinkedIn's DM tool. So if you ever get stuck in LinkedIn messages and can't find what you're looking for, this is oh, what have I done? No, not yet. I'm just setting up the competition here. So what you have to do to enter is drop a comment, and you can win 6 months free of Condo. They've sponsored this episode. One lucky winner will get 6 months subscription for free just by being here and dropping a comment. So I've just started the timer, and I'll share my screen at the end, and we'll see who won. There's 3 entries so far. To enter the competition, you need to just drop a comment, as many as you like. Hit repost, make sure you share the live as well to be entered into the draw. All good here now. Okay, great. Always like to make sure that technology is working before we crack into the content. Look, the companies and professionals who embrace AI today are the ones who will dominate tomorrow. They'll be the ones that are automating repetitive tasks, gaining deeper insight, and driving growth at a pace that leaves their competitors in the dust. Man, on the other hand, those who hesitate, who think AI is just a fad or something they'll deal with later, are going to find themselves left behind. Now, I'm just going to pause right here because you have heard me say the best AI hack there is not to use it, right? And I'm talking really about social media content here and authenticity, because what used to be the goal with social media is more followers, go viral, bigger audience. What's happened is the algorithm now is just serving people content that, I hate to say it, but it's mainly entertainment value. You'll notice that you don't see as many people that you actually follow or that you're connected with. It's more like entertainment posts on most social media sites, and that's only going to increase. And why? Well, these social media platforms have one goal, and their goal is to keep you on the platform longer. They keep you on the platform longer, you see more ads, they make more money, and that's how it all works. And so if they show you entertaining content, then you're more likely to stay on longer. Why? Because it's addictive. That's how the brain works. You know, you let go of neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin and endorphins when you're entertained, and every human being has the need to be entertained. So you can connect with such a wide audience. So if your goal is to go viral, guys, you're going to have to create entertaining content. Now, here's the thing. People who watch entertaining content don't necessarily buy. So it's actually not a case of more these days. It's a case of the right people, getting the right people. You're much better off getting 100 people in your audience who are the right target market, who are interested in what you deliver, than having hundreds of thousands of people who are there to be entertained, if that makes sense. Because people who are there to get educated, for example, some inspired as well, but educated is a big one, are much more likely to engage and do business with you or buy your products or services. Alex Hormozi, huge creator, he would have millions and millions and millions of followers across every social channel, actually changed his whole strategy to go from this entertaining, like high impact content to actually doing educational stuff, which was actually would go for an hour and 15 minutes in front of a whiteboard. Some would say less, entertaining, but the audience was smaller. He took a big hit in the numbers, but they actually buy more often because they're the right types of people. Okay, so let's think about how to use AI in that context. Okay, you do need to embrace it. I'm not saying ignore it altogether. I'm going to show you some of the ways that I use it. There's 100 ways to use it. I really like ChatGPT. I'm a big fan. I know that a lot of people like Gemini, Claude. Let me know in the comments which one you're into. But look, they say by 2030, 800 million global workers will lose their jobs. And that was a McKinsey report, I believe. And that's mainly just robotic automation. I mean, study of 46 countries, I think it was, 800 occupations. McKinsey Global Institute found that 1/5 of the global workforce will be affected. Come on, what an understatement. It's got to be a lot more than that. It's similar to the scale of the early 1900s, if you've got any history buffs in the audience, when much of global industry switched from farming to factory work. You might be wondering, how exactly does that relevant to me today? It's 2025, Nathaniel. How exactly can I use AI to streamline my creative process? Well, it isn't that hard to streamline creativity. It might seem hard, but that's what we're going to actually do. And if you're using ChatGPT and you're just asking random questions, you're doing it wrong. So we're going to talk about some of the tools that I use, and I'll also just go deeper into ChatGPT because I have done AI secrets before. I think the last one I did was 6 months ago, and the landscape's changed. Like ChatGPT is just so different now. If you're familiar with it at all and you've used the different models, it makes a world of difference. So you switch from model 4 to model 4.5, and it can do all this research for you. So I'm going to share some practical stuff to go way beyond write me a blog post. And honestly, this will save you hours and hours every week. It will save you, in my case, like it means I could have 2 team members instead of 10. Which saves an absolute fortune. So it's not about using AI to spit out generic, watered down content. Like as soon as I introduce AI to anyone's workflow, it's tempting to look at it and go, oh, that's so much smarter and so much more polished than what I would have written. But it's actually, there's a huge demand now for authenticity. And the way that you can show that you're authentic really easily is by not being perfect. I'm talking about literally intentionally not making the grammar perfect. Think about it. If you get a message and a couple of the sentences start with a lowercase letter, you're not going to think it's AI, right? And so you automatically come across as authentic. And we spend our whole lives at school and university trying to make everything grammatically correct. Now it's so easy to do that, right? With AI, and so we're all tempted just to use it, but the problem is it doesn't come across very authentic. You want to write your messages and your posts like writing a text message to a friend. Okay, all right, so this is the toolkit that you wish you had 12 months ago. I certainly did. AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for your brain, so don't outsource your thinking. Still take the time to learn what you're doing. ChatGPT is not connected to live internet data, so it can, and it does, make things up and get things wrong. Like a hallucination, a polite term for confidently wrong content. So treat AI like a co-pilot and it speed things up, but stay in control of the wheel. Okay, before we get stuck into it, I'm just going to drop in the chat here. Abacus, that's very interesting. I haven't used that one before. Interesting. I have heard really good things about Claude. 100%, Fahad. 100%. Nailed it, mate. I'm interested to hear if any of you have experience with other tools. Just a quick backstory for context. So I started my business 12 years ago. I quit my job, hadn't been paid in 3 months, no savings. My electricity got cut out. I literally powered a desk lamp using an extension cord in the hallway of my apartment building. And under that desk lamp, I wrote a business plan. And the next day I used LinkedIn to book a meeting. By 8 a.m., I'd booked the meeting. By 5 p.m., I made $15,000, my first sale of my business. And we were Australia's first LinkedIn marketing agency. So I can imagine being the first LinkedIn trainer, first LinkedIn marketing agency. Whenever LinkedIn came up in conversation, whether it's the Social Media College or Mentor Education or the Australia Digital Marketing Institute, or even in Apple's headquarters, my name would pop up. So since then, I've trained over 40,000 professionals. I've helped clients generate over 650 million in sales. Worked with Westpac, Channel 7, AFL. I'm not sharing this to flex. I just find that people pay more attention when I tell you a bit of this stuff, especially if you haven't heard me speak before. Now, AI has completely changed the game. What I think one of the most important things in marketing is the ability to adapt. What worked 20 years ago for sure doesn't work now. What worked 2 years ago is not working now either. Anyone who's done my LinkedIn training, I'm recommending these days that you do it every single year because at least 50% of it changes. Now, why LinkedIn? Why LinkedIn? Because you might be thinking, there's all these other social media platforms out there. Some people say TikTok, some people say Facebook, Instagram. Look, as business owners, if you're in B2B or professional services, or you shake hands with people, or you're looking for distribution channels, the mindset is everything. The mindset. It could be the same person that you reach on TikTok. It could be the same person you reach on Instagram, but the mindset's different. They're not going on to LinkedIn to hang out with their friends or see some photographs of their nieces. We're here to do business. People on LinkedIn are ready to do business. They're looking for solutions to their problems. They're looking for team members. They're looking for networking opportunities. They're looking for new clients. LinkedIn is a place to do that, where it's totally acceptable to connect with somebody if you've got mutual connections and you've got an interest in what they do and you work with that industry. It's totally appropriate for you to reach out as long as you're showing interest in the other person and not trying to sell to them. This is where decision makers are. This is where decisions happen, where business conversations happen, and where you can directly connect with the people who can help grow your business. I don't just say this because I'm doing LinkedIn marketing. I'm only here because I get the best results here. So on YouTube, I have 22,000 subscribers. I've got, how many on Instagram? Probably 30,000, I think, on Instagram or something like that. 40,000 on my personal LinkedIn. So it's not a huge amount more, but I can tell you now, I make at least 30 times as much business from LinkedIn than all the other ones combined. And I don't do TikTok. There's not enough hours in a day, my friends. Okay, so I'll show you why LinkedIn is a platform. The great thing about LinkedIn these days is I'm not the only LinkedIn trainer. There's actually all these AI tools built specifically for LinkedIn, which is awesome because you can write specific LinkedIn content that was designed in the right structure to go viral based on what's worked in the past. The best way to replicate success is to use templates. So you guys want to check out some of those tools. Check out Magic Post. Check out Supergrow. These platforms, they have templates that are proven to go viral, and you just write your little post in there and it'll spit it out with a hook and the correct spacing and all that kind of thing. Now, the only thing I will say is, these templates have been around now for a year, 2 years. So, you may find that you might want to change it just a little bit because there's more and more people writing content like that. Really what you want to do is just take it and just make it a bit more human. Just make it a little bit less perfect. But they do make the sentences short. They do write a good hook. Your hook is the most important thing. Even if you just use AI to write your hook, you're winning. It's like 80% of your post. If you don't have a good hook, no one's going to read the rest of it, right? So with AI, you can generate content in minutes if you know what you're doing. You can scale your lead generation and outreach, and you can build a personal brand. It's not a nice to have, it's a future of business. And Goldman Sachs predicts that AI will replace 300 million jobs in the next couple of years. And let me just bring this up on the screen. I've got to show you something else. Look at it. Look at this video quickly.
Every company in the world and every workflow for every company in every industry will be re-engineered in 24 months. This is a tsunami, Ed. This is a tsunami of change. And only the smart ones are going to recognize I have to plant the flag now. Whether the story is complete or not is not the issue. The train has moved out. It's on the fly.
That's the CEO of ServiceNow. And
I think
Here's
we are
another
seeing the
one.
most disruptive force in history here. We will have for the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. I mean, it's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but there will come a point where no job is needed. The AI will be able to do everything. I don't know if that makes people comfortable or uncomfortable. It's
Mate, when that guy Elon Musk starts talking about things like he just did then, you got to pay attention. He's one of the smartest dudes on the planet, right? Whether you love him or hate him, he's a smart guy, right? So things are going to look very different in 5 years' time, right? And so we do need to understand what we're dealing with here. And if you can leverage AI, you're going to be able to still be around. I don't think we'll be doing working nearly as hard in the future as we do now. By the way, who's heard of Gary Vee? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of Gary Vee, because if you know Gary, he's all about spotting trends. He spots them early and he maximizes every platform to its fullest potential. He's been one of the loudest voices in the social media world. And, he was talking about TikTok before it got hot, Facebook advertising before it got hot, even Google AdWords and email marketing back in the day. This is what he's saying these days.
The single biggest way for anybody in this room to double the size of their business, no question, is through a significant content strategy on LinkedIn.
Gary Vee has mastered almost every social media trend and prediction, and he's saying that LinkedIn's a place to be. It's worth paying attention to. I think that is really important, and he's been saying that for at least a year, maybe 2 years now, right? So we're going to get into the. Everyone's saying yes, we've heard of Gary Vee. Just bought his book, great book, one of the best I've read. I was a little bit late to the party with Jab, 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 Right Hook, but it's outstanding. And Crush It is great as well. I have not bothered with his more recent one. It looks like let me know how you find it, but I think it's like a lot of it's the same sort of stuff. Okay, so we're going to go talk about 6 tools, 6 AI tools. This is the fun part. We're going to start with ChatGPT because I just love it. I use it every day, and I use it with my voice. I think it's great. Clio with a K, Kleo, which uncovers viral LinkedIn posts. You can go to anybody's profile and organize their content by what's got the most comments, most likes. You can even organize their content by the oldest content and see what the trajectory has been like. I did that when I interviewed Yasmin Alec a couple of weeks ago. But it's a great way to see what are the top creators posting about and what are they getting the most engagement on, because you want to rehash or just put your own spin on those ideas. You don't need to create things from scratch all the time. Learn what's proven to go well in your niche and then put your own spin on it. I've mentioned Magic Post. It writes your content in your style super fast. I do have a link with a free trial for those. I'll drop it in the comments afterwards. Supergrow, I also have a link for them. They actually have a tool which will create carousels for you. So those, slide decks where you have like 10 slides, it'll actually create those for you in seconds. It's got a content calendar so you can schedule your content. Supergrow, great. Really close with the founder there. He's really helpful. Another one which is good for video, let me know in the comments if you've heard this one, but Opus Clip. Opus.pro is the website. And what that does is it takes a long video. Let's say, you're doing something like this, you're talking for 20 minutes about a topic, you upload it into Opus.pro, and what it does is it finds the best clips, and they're normally like a minute or 2 minute long. You can customize how long you want them to be, and it will find one with a good hook, and it will put the captions in, cut out the silences, and put it together into a nice short 1 2 minute video. If you ever notice when I post videos that are about a minute long and they've got those bright yellow and green captions on them, that's probably made in Opus.pro. So it can create like 30 videos for you at once. Now, not all of them are going to be ideal. It gives you a score out of 100, from 1 to 100, of how well they will do. So normally the first 3 are worth looking at it. You can edit them and customize them. You can add B-roll. You can make the audio better. So it's a pretty cool tool. If you're not outsourcing to video editors, check out Opus Clip. There's a few of them out there. If you're using any other ones, let me know in the comments. But I think this is what I've been using, and it's been great, and they keep improving it. CRM is also important to choose a CRM that leverages AI. So I've been using Pipedrive, which is very sales focused. It's great because you can manage LinkedIn leads. It syncs up with LinkedIn through Surf is the extension. And I've just started using ActiveCampaign, which also has loads of AI tools in it, which makes it a lot more efficient to use. And ActiveCampaign have got great results with deliverability. So if you're on my email marketing list, that's where you're getting your emails from these days. But today I want to go deeper into just ChatGPT, because that's what I'm using every day. And I think some of the things that I assume that people are doing may not be 100% self-explanatory. So look, if you're only using ChatGPT to write content or get answers to random questions, you're not doing it well enough. You're doing it wrong. Don't use AI to create. I don't use AI to create any original messaging or copy or content, but I absolutely do use it a ton in other amazing ways to make my job easier, faster, more efficient, and to better serve my audience. So the shortcuts that you'll see are not about using AI to write generic content. There's enough of that stuff flooding around the internet. They're actually just more useful and actually will save you time without sacrificing your authentic message, right? And look, ChatGPT doesn't always get this right, but if you know what you're looking for, you can correct it and get it back on track, okay? Okay, so one of the things that I use it for a lot is to summarize long documents. You may notice that I do quite a bit of research, especially for things like this. And let's say you've got a long PDF. Some of the sources where I get a lot of my marketing information from are like long research reports, a 40-page industry report, a white paper or case study. Now, for me to sit down and read that, it's going to take me like 2.5 hours, right? So you don't have time to do that. You want the biggest takeaways and the actionable insights, and you can tell ChatGPT exactly what you're looking for. So you could say something like this, and you may want to jot this down. I'm going to upload a LinkedIn AI marketing report. I'm going to upload X. Can you give me a clear summary of the top 5 takeaways and break them down in simple language as if you were explaining it to a smart 12-year-old? Okay, then upload your PDF file. And I tell you what, just doing this, it will save you hours and hours each week. If you're ever doing any research, I just did it with a lease agreement. You don't need to read long documents anymore. So you can hit this little, plus button to upload a document, drag and drop, or you can drag and drop it into the chat. Once ChatGPT processes your documents, you should get the super clear takeaways, right? So that's a great way to use ChatGPT that I actually use a lot. It might seem pretty simple, but I use that one all the time. So some other prompts that you could use is give me 3 actionable insights a small business owner could take from this report, or use this report to create 3 LinkedIn posts for me in a casual tone, or which section of this document are most important for me to read in full. So it's like having your assistant there. He's reading it for you lightning speed, and you can just get the important information, right? Okay, now what about if you want to analyze data or highlight key trends? So let's say you send out a survey. If you don't survey your customers, you should, right? It's a great way to increase your average lifetime value and both your how much you charge them, how many services that they do with you, and how long they stick around for. Knowing why your customers buy from you is very important, right? So let's say you send out a survey to your best customers, get some feedback on the product or service that you offer. You get, 50, 100 responses, and you're trying to figure out what people really care about. So instead of going through every single response, you can put them all into ChatGPT. It will spot patterns, key insights, and action items for you, right? So you can say to ChatGPT, and you can do this by voice, or you can type it. I'm going to feed you some data from a customer survey. Can you identify the most common themes in the open-ended responses and give me a summary of the top 5 trends? Just like that. So you just upload your file. You can do it in Google Sheets. I often use Google Forms to do a lot of this stuff. And that's really useful. Storms just said that depending on the confidentiality of docs, be sure to toggle off your feedback to ChatGPT's learning system. That's a very good point, Storm. Absolutely. That's why you're here. Storm is one of our resident AI experts. Okay, one of the things you could also say is, which challenges come up the most in the feedback? Group these responses by sentiment, positive, negative, and neutral, because you may want to reach out to people that are positive or people that are negative. Create a quick insight summary. You can summarize this like you're reporting back to the CEO. Short, sharp, action-orientated. Really, really valuable stuff. You can do it you can upload your own posts and get it to tell you which ones perform the best and why. Another one I always use, create specific examples to demonstrate ideas. How often is it that you're sending an email or you're writing a proposal and you're kind of explaining all this stuff, right? But you don't have any examples or ways to simply explain it. So I literally just use this to help me come up with some examples to help demonstrate a framework that I was teaching. So it can be very useful if you're teaching something or building a presentation or even just posting on social media. So as long as you clearly explain the framework or the formula or the model that you're trying to get across, it will find you examples that you can use. So you might want to just go, hey, I use a formula called X to help freelancers write better social media bios. I'll just explain to you how it works and just speak into the chat. Then go ahead, explain the formula, and you give as much detail as you want. And then once ChatGPT understands your framework, you can go ahead and say, give me some specific examples. Give me 5 examples for a business coach or a copywriter or something like that. Keep each one short and impactful, right? So if you want to convey more benefits, then you can try and make the examples aspirational. Or if you want to make them more casual and match your voice, you can ask them to be written in that tone. Now, if you want to, while you're talking about all this stuff, you can say, give me 20 ideas for relevant hooks that I could use in my social media. I love doing that, 20 ideas for relevant hooks. Because you always got hooks then to write your content. A lot of them you can use. You could say, write me 20 hooks that I could use for most posts. Because it'll give you hooks like, this is the biggest mistake you want to avoid. Hooks that you could always use all the time, which is really important. You want to keep your hooks 8 words or less, 1 line. And then underneath it, you should have a rehook, which kind of leads into the rest of the post. Yasmin Alec talks about having each post is at least 2 posts, right? Because you've got the first 3 lines, then people have to click see more, and then they get the rest of the post. So if your first 3 lines don't capture people's attention, they're not going to read the rest of it. Listen, when you record stuff like this, video content or podcasts, right? Podcasts, and you don't turn that into written content, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. I mean, even podcast show notes, right? Or YouTube videos. All you need to do is give ChatGPT the transcript of your podcast or video, which you can use another AI tool to get. What's the name of the one I use? Otter is the one I use for transcripts. But if you just search for transcripts, there's plenty of free ones out there. And then you give ChatGPT a transcript of your podcast or video, and then just ask it to write a detailed video description or show notes, including the key takeaways, timestamps, and optimize it for SEO. Once you've done this, right, if you then put that podcast or that YouTube video on a page on your website, that page on your website will rank invariably well on Google. It's one of the biggest hacks that I could give you about search engine optimization. Some of my best performing videos on YouTube have their own dedicated page on my website. And when you do the analytics to my website, literally it's 50,000 website visits come from these pages where I've got these videos on there. Okay, so in a new chat, give ChatGPT your format and just give it your transcript. You can upload it as a text file or a PDF, or you can just copy and paste it. Maybe you could tell it to follow a structure: title, summary, paragraph, 3 takeaways. guest bio, call to action, something like that. If you want to keep it consistent, ChatGPT is going to know, reasonable format to do it in. So you can use Descript, I think. Riverside's a popular one. Most video editing tools now could do transcripts automatically, like Adobe Premiere Pro just does, perfect transcripts. So you can also say, give me some posts so I can share the podcast, like summarize it in a way that feels valuable to a busy entrepreneur and then post it on LinkedIn. You can turn it into a quick summary that I can share over email, push it out over email as well. That's a great way to get a lot of views very quickly. Okay, and then also, let's just go back to Clio, because analyzing social data, top performing posts is a great way for you to get your social media working a lot better. So stop guessing which of your social media posts perform best. Like in most social apps, you can actually export your data, like the likes, the comments, the reach, and then you can get ChatGPT to analyze which posts work best and why. So you just say, I'm going to share some of my recent posts with you. Can you identify the top 10? Tell me what they have in common, like the hook, the tone, the topic, the format, and suggest how I can repeat that success. Write me 20 posts like this. If you don't think that the best creators aren't doing this, you're fooling yourself. They're definitely doing this. A lot of their best content is very similar. They're repeating themselves over and over and over. So make sure you give your data to ChatGPT, and if you can get things like the length of the post, the content of the hook, like the impressions, likes, comments, that all helps. You could even do it by screenshotting the post, just uploading them as images. That works as well. You could put in an underperforming post and ask it what you've done wrong and how you can improve it. You could ask them to improve your captions. You could ask which kind of content generally gets the most saves, what gets the most dwell time, things like that. Okay. Now, if you're writing like articles or you're doing presentations like this and you're making claims, right? Big claims. If you're doing research for a blog post or you're looking for stats to include in an upcoming email, data is very important to help support a claim or argument that you're making for credibility purposes. And so ChatGPT can do that. Make sure you use ChatGPT 4.5. Tell ChatGPT what you're looking for, explain the topic and your need for sources. You don't need to be too formal. For example, Google made some changes to email deliverability in November last year. Can you find some resources on that? This will save you hours. If you're doing research for good quality content, you don't have to go and dig through loads of YouTube videos trying to figure it all out yourself. ChatGPT will narrow it down for you. Okay. And for writing articles, this is absolutely paramount. This is how I'm able to do it Monday Night Live every week. Me and ChatGPT just flesh it out. I mean, it might take me an hour and a half to get ready, but we can do it pretty quickly. You can say, give me some more articles like this one, paste in your article that you found, or you can summarize this article, pull out the most relevant statistics. But just remember, like AI does skip over stuff and it does lie. It's it's generative in its nature. So always just make sure to fact check sources. You may even want to copy what it's given you and put it into a new chat and ask ChatGPT to double check it for you. If you're using ChatGPT, by the way, make sure you customize your memories. I don't know if you've looked at this, but Storm will know a lot about this, right? So what ChatGPT remembers from what you tell it. Okay, go through there and delete anything that's not relevant if you were just brainstorming or it might be about a customer, and feed it the important information that you want it to remember. Okay. Also, I spent about 4 months recently, Storm will know about this as well, choosing a CRM, and I went with ActiveCampaign. 4 months, what a waste of time. ActiveCampaign was the most expensive out of the ones I was choosing. Should have just picked that one from the start. But how many times have you spent hours or weeks or even months evaluating software or platforms trying to decide which one is best for your specific needs, right? It doesn't matter if it's email automation or payment processing or whatever. What you actually could do is use ChatGPT to help filter out the best options. So describe what you're looking for. Can you recommend some different digital tools for mapping out marketing funnels visually? ChatGPT will give you a bunch of options, right? And then you just tell it what your criteria is. Which of these tools integrate with LinkedIn? Or I'd love to be able to incorporate conversion rates and have like an analytical report I can send clients. Which ones do you recommend? And it can narrow it down to 2 or 3, right? You just tell it to give you simple answers. You can ask for pricing comparisons. It could do all of that stuff. I mean, I'm sure you guys have played around with this before, but I'm using this like all the time. And then also, when I get larger projects, I use ChatGPT to break it down into smaller tasks. So if you've got a large project with lots of deliverables, it can be quite overwhelming, especially if it's customized, right? The sheer scope of it all. And sometimes you've got to put this, outline the deliverables for a customer. Quite often, if you haven't done this specific project before, it's hard to know what you should put in there. That is like a boundary, what's not included, right? ChatGPT can help you with that. If I need to launch an online course in 2 or 3 weeks, I can actually do that now with ChatGPT because it's going to include, like, if I want to, let's say, LinkedIn video secrets, right? If I want to create that course, I can say, ChatGPT, I'm going to create a course called LinkedIn Video Secrets. Based on what you know about my content, what do you think the 5 top modules should be, right? And then that can narrow it down. We may need to tweak them a little bit. And then under each module, what are the main topics that we should cover, right? And then I can literally just talk about those topics into my phone, and ChatGPT can map out the lesson plan and the video script and, any handouts and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's like having a copywriter, a VA, and a social media manager just in your phone, right? So I've got a couple of other ones that I want to share with you, but we're running out of time here. Some great comments here, guys. Active Campaign is good. Yes, it is good. They're all good, to be honest. Spending 4 months procrastinating is not good, right? Finding relevant examples for inspiration is a big one. So it's a great shortcut for, like, if you want to find inspiration for landing pages or lead magnets or sales pages or products, rather than just browsing aimlessly through the internet, ask ChatGPT what's working right now. What landing pages are converting the best? Then reverse engineer one for yourself, right? This is a much quicker way than trying to just design it yourself. Look at what's already working. Can you give me 5 examples of top performing landing pages for digital product launches for something like LinkedIn Video Secrets, right? And just give me 3 bullet points on each, why they work, the messaging, the layout, the call to action and visuals, right? So you're getting all this feedback from what's actually working. So when you write your own copy, it's a lot easier, So it's great for creating digital products like courses and stuff, right? So encourage you all to look at that. And I think that, if you're building an audience on social media, it's good to have multiple sort of revenue streams and price points. So, most of the clients that I work with are generally not necessarily big businesses, but they're high transaction size. So I can't work with everyone. So creating like a video secrets course is great because it caters for a different audience. Well, not necessarily different, but a wider audience. And so if you're building a social media audience, it's worthwhile having those sort of entry-level products as well. It's a huge amount of value there. And to be honest, like, it's the same sort of content that I would deliver if a company was paying, $10,000, $15,000 for my time, but it's not just online. You go through it at your own pace. Okay. So I hope that's been helpful, guys. What we're going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to find the winner for this competition here. Okay. Let's see. We've got 18 entries, guys. Who is it going to be? Oh, I thought it was Storm for a minute. We got Ismail Briasco. Well done. Are you still here, my friend? Are you still here, Ismail? Congratulations. You won 6 months free of Condo, the best DM tool for LinkedIn. Like, you can use Condo to find old leads that you haven't responded to or haven't responded to you. You can find people that are yet to reply to you and follow them up. I mean, I think the first time I started using it, I made an extra $15,000 that month just by following up people that hadn't replied to me, and vice versa, some messages I'd missed as well. Because LinkedIn's inbox is really hard to manage. So good on you. I'll DM you about how you can claim your 6 months free of condo. Okay, so look, guys, I do some coaching around how to use AI and LinkedIn. So if you do want some information on how I can support you with that, just drop me a DM, guys, and I'm happy to share with you some of the coaching packages that I have. Also, that LinkedIn Video Secrets that I mentioned is a real thing. We're a couple of weeks away from launching. We've had a couple of delays, but we'll be launching very soon. The content's ready to go. I'm just finalizing a few things. So if you're interested in that, either type Video Secrets into the comments or send me a DM. And I have one more free gift for you guys. So I actually created a GPT. Yes, that's right. And I only share it with my clients. But since you guys stuck around to the end, it's called Write My Post. Write My Post. If you would like a copy of my GPT, shoot me a DM. I'm more than happy to share it with you as a thank you for being here all the way through this episode of Monday Night Live. You've got everything you need to make ChatGPT your productivity secret weapon. Whether you're building funnels, planning your next big launch, it's something that will save you a huge amount of time. And the beautiful thing is you're practicing using AI, right? So congratulations to Ismail. I hope you're still here, mate. I'm going to send you a DM. Otherwise, we'll be drawing another winner very quickly. If you want more free videos, head over to my YouTube channel. There's a Monday Night Live playlist there. We can see previous episodes, stacks of content, keynotes, interviews, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you turn the notification bell on so you get alerted when there's new videos on YouTube and LinkedIn. And don't miss next week's Monday Night Live. What have we got next week? It's LinkedIn for financial services, right? So if you're in financial services or you're interested in how to generate leads in a trust-based industry, then make sure you join us next week. I believe it's a little bit earlier next week. So I think it's 1 p.m. Perth time. So I'll drop the link into the comments. But until then, my friends, stay legendary. I'm Nathaniel Bibby. Thanks for being here. We are building the biggest show on LinkedIn based on results, and knowledge is useless without execution. So go out there and be the exception and execute. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week in business. Peace.